everybody. We are the masters of the movieverse. And I am Anthony. This is Norman. We got the producer, Mario.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
And, we're here to talk about some movies. That's what we do. Today, we're going to be talking about post-apocalyptic movies. All right? We're going with my personal top 20. Now, this, obviously, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. So if you don't agree with it, go on the site, comment, give me, you can say what you feel. But this is my opinion, and these are my top 20. And Norman's going to act like,
Casually, yeah.
He's standing in for all of you. He's going to kind of come in and, maybe
I'm going to chime in.
Or he may agree with me. So
I'm going to ask some of the questions. You might have answers, though. Don't write the questions down that I'm saying. Come up with new stuff.
All right, so post-apocalyptic movies. Now, first thing you want to say is, get this thing working. What qualifies for my list as post-apocalyptic? In my opinion, I think because you have different, you have some movies where the apocalypse, the movie is about the apocalypse. You got like Armageddon, movies like that where it's kind of a build-up to the Armageddon is actually like the climax of the movie where they're trying to avert it or whatever.
Right.
In my opinion, I think that if the apocalypse happens during the course of the movie, I think it's going to happen very early on. In the first half hour or so, that can't be the climax. What always drew me, what always appealed to me about post-apocalypse movies was like what happens after, like what people do to survive.
How they survive, how they work together.
Right, and how the movie, how the people who made the movie, the writers, the director, how they depict that, that struggle, and, there's a lot of things involved in it, just personal survival. How do I survive? If you have a family, how far do you go to protect that family? Which is, most movies, that's, they put that ahead of themselves.
Right.
But then there's, beyond that is like the social aspect of it. When society breaks down, how far, are you willing to go to protect yourself and your family? Do you, is everybody you meet, are they, do you kill on sight?
Right.
Because they're probably going to kill you.
Because they want your stuff.
Right, yeah, and that's another thing,
And your women.
Scavenging for survival. Yeah, right. Well, a lot of these movies, that is the thing.
Yeah,
movie,
absolutely.
Women, food, shelter,
Yeah.
whatever you have.
They want
there's
it.
people out there that are going to take it. And
that's why you get into that situation. You want to make sure you're with some tough dudes with you.
Exactly, right,
like,
yeah. But then you want somebody that you trust because, eventually they'll say, well, why am I keeping you around? So there's a lot of things that go into it. So that's what I always liked about post-apocalypse movies is, the struggle to survive afterwards, So you could almost call this like survival movies. But, a lot of different types of apocalypse, and all that stuff. But we'll that's where we'll see a lot of them right now.
We'll delve into that.
Yeah. But first of all, just for some examples of what wouldn't qualify for me. And you got some really good movies here, all right? So, starting from, to go clockwise around, you got The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely.
Definitely takes place, after an apocalypse, In the movie, the scenes that take place in the apocalypse kind of take second, like a back seat to everything that happens within the confines of the Matrix.
Right.
That was like the real appeal for that movie was the Matrix itself, and the fact that we could go in there and once you learned about it and you can learn to control it, you could do whatever you want. It's almost like living in a dream, like where you could, like just the ones that I know kung fu. It's like he learns kung fu in a second.
Yeah.
So but the scenes. Most of the scenes that took place in the present, which the present being after this, AI robot machine apocalypse, where mankind was pretty much all but destroyed, and the reason they kept us around.
They were prisoners to feed off us, right? Like a battery.
Energy.
Yeah.
They call they call us copper tops. The slang.
Yep.
But most of those scenes, first of all, they took place all within the ship there, the Nebuchadnezzar. So. As far as like somebody who's looking for a post-apocalypse, like all that survival stuff, Matrix doesn't really hit those points.
Right.
Great movie, like I said.
Yeah.
That'll be on probably in a top 5 or 3 of some other list. But for this, no. War of the Worlds. This movie, the apocalypse happens early on, yes, but pretty much during the whole course of the movie, it's during the apocalypse. It's not post-apocalypse.
Right. It was like they just
yeah.
it was more like survival. It was like an attack takeover.
And in the end, the apocalypse never it didn't succeed, right?
Yeah,
so we ended up defeating. So that doesn't qualify. Planet of the Apes.
They got COVID, didn't they? Too.
Yeah. They didn't have enough beds, so they all died. Planet of the Apes. All right. Problem with Planet of the Apes is definitely post-apocalypse. It's way after the apocalypse, but we don't even know that until the very last scene.
That scene,
damn you all that that scene right there. Yeah, right. Yeah. That was as far as we know,
time frame. Or
exactly.
Right.
So that's that. World War Z. It's kind of the same thing as War of the Worlds, where this whole thing took place during this zombie apocalypse, outbreak. Once again, would be definitely on one of my best, my top lists, top 5, probably be in the top 3 zombie movies. And when you think apocalypse, first nowadays especially, one of the first things you think of is zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean? So a zombie movie, you would think
that one. I probably you're right. Not that one. Walking Dead maybe, but not that one.
So
because they figured it out.
Yeah,
Walking Dead, they still didn't figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, And Walking Dead is just all the very the first season was the apocalypse, and then the rest of it is just how they got by after. This is another one. This is like a good movie, and this.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
10 Cloverfield Lane. Yeah. Now this is kind of like the same thing as like Planet of the Apes, where you didn't really know it was an apocalypse. They're telling you it's an apocalypse. He's telling. So you seen this? Have you seen it? So anybody who hasn't seen it,
spoiler alert.
Yeah. What's her name? Winstead. Her last name is Winstead. I can't. I'm drawing a blank on her first name. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yeah. She is in a car accident at some point before the movie starts, and she wakes up kind of almost as a prisoner. She wakes up in a bunker with John Goodman. Kind of like a scruffy, big, kind of like a creepy looking dude that might want to kidnap somebody and keep him in a bunker. And so now this whole movie is about he won't let her out because he's worried about what's going on out there, and she, the whole movie is about. Is he just keeping me prisoner? She doesn't even know if the apocalypse really happened, and it's all about her trying to escape. But at the same time, she doesn't know if. So I don't want to spend too much time on it because this is one of my non-qualifiers. But in the end, it was this is kind of like at the end where she actually realizes, hey, this is a spoiler alert again. It is the apocalypse. But that's why it doesn't qualify because it's part of the plot is just trying to figure out is this the apocalypse or not. 12 Monkeys made another one of my lists. Definitely a post-apocalypse. I mean, it takes place after a virus breaks out and all that stuff. But once again, most of the movie takes place in our time before the apocalypse, so I'm not going to qualify that. But just like to point out, it's a great movie. One of my favorites. So now we're going to start with movies that did qualify, but then it didn't qualify for my top 20 list. This is the honorable mentions. And we're going to just go right around real quick. Zombieland.
Yeah.
Good movie. Great. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was
and it was, post-apocalypse. It just came too late to the party, I think. There's another movie that we'll talk about later that kind of beat out that comedy post-apocalypse genre. So, great cast, great movie. Didn't know if it really warranted a sequel, but whatever. Waterworld. I mean, I doubt this is on anybody's post-apocalypse top 20. No. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it either.
It was one of those things.
I don't have a copy of it. It didn't make my copy cut.
Right.
But it was all right. It had an interesting story.
Yeah, kind of goofy. Yeah.
It's like a weird Aquaman kind of reality.
Yeah.
Kind of movie.
Yeah, a little
the gills behind his ears and all that nonsense.
Story, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Webbed feet.
Where and it's a different apocalypse. I think that's the only one that I could think of where the apocalypse they're talking about was, kind of global warming and the glaciers melt, cover the earth in water, and there's no land. What would happen there, It would be an interesting apocalypse, but the movie wasn't that great. So.
But they found land at the end, though, I think.
Huh? They did, right, towards the end, He didn't want to stay there because he was an Aquaman.
And not to drag that story, but did it ever explain? Because I can't remember how he had gills in the back of his ears and webbed feet.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either.
if anybody knows, feel free to comment.
Comment on the bottom. Let us know because I don't know. I don't remember.
That'd be interesting. It might be something. 'Cause I don't even know that was based on a book.
They might have talked about it when I fell asleep, but I don't remember.
One of the few times. Soylent Green. Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston. No stranger to post-apocalypse. Some might even argue that this isn't post-apocalypse. It's takes place like in the future. There's a food shortage. I believe it was another thing with. I think it had to do with climate change and stuff, which is way ahead of its time. For this was I think late '60s, early '70s.
Yeah, it looks like I don't remember that movie at all.
Yeah, but it is a thing where there's a food shortage, and the government is basically they're giving you the government cheese, but it was just a little bit of these little wafers that they would give you. There was Soylent Blue, Soylent Red, I think, and Soylent Green. When they started running out of the other ones, they were making Soylent Green. At the end of the movie, he finds out what they were doing was taking all the people that were dying, processing them, and making them into food and feeding them to everybody.
Nice.
So it was it's a good movie. It doesn't get a lot of credit, but
That's funny.
Next one down, The Girl with All the Gifts, newer movie. It was interesting movie. It was kind of it's a zombie apocalypse type thing, and premise of it is the kids. Some kids get like a partial zombie, like the zombie. They get the thing in them, but it doesn't turn them into a zombie fully. And they are zombies. They eat. They want to kill people, but they put them they have telepathic powers and shit. They got some kind of It was just it was an interesting take on it, and she I think she breaks her out of school. They have them in these schools, but they keep these masks on them so they can't bite nobody. But they
Are they thinkers? Can they think?
They think
like in warm bodies.
She's almost she's like a sentient zombie, like cognizant zombie. But so it was an interesting take, and it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't that great either. So it's not making my list. Okay, so next movie we'll talk that doesn't qualify is Snowpiercer. Actually, it qualifies, just didn't make the list. It was a good movie. Chris Evans plays a good part. The thing it was a little goofy. Have you seen the movie?
Did not see that.
It was a little goofy. I don't know. It was almost like I don't want to say like a Tim Burton movie style, but it was almost like it didn't have it. They couldn't figure out if they wanted to do a serious movie or just something off over the top. But it was a good premise. It's there was it's like a new ice age, so the world's frozen over, and somebody foresaw it. They created this massive train with all these different cars, and because the oceans are frozen, or parts of it, I guess. So they made a track that goes all the way around the world. As long as that thing keeps moving, it's generating electricity, heat, and all that stuff. They were growing their own. They had cars that grew food and all that stuff, and it was like a class system. So up towards the engine was all the the high elite, upper class. You know what I mean? And as you went down the way, get to near the end of the train, the caboose was all the lower class, poor people and stuff, that they had they had little menial jobs. You needed those people to run the train, but and eventually.
Did it go by cars?
Yeah.
Mercedes Benz was originally he has a station wagon.
Well, yeah. They had it looked like they were in
Volkswagen.
Park Avenue penthouse,
oh, nice.
Where all the rich people stayed, and these guys were staying in bunk beds, and it looked like
straw temple.
A slovenly pit we're living in. And then eventually, they get tired of it, and they start. And there was brutality to the ones in there. So it was a good movie, good concept. Like I said, the concept was good enough where they actually made a TV series out of it, which was all right. I don't know. I can't say that because I didn't finish the first series, so that usually means it isn't that good. But good. It was okay. It just missed the list. I actually had this in the top 20, and then I thought of a couple other movies that I'd forgotten about, so it got bumped. Yeah, these two Carriers too. They got bumped. Very eerily similar to what we're going through now. It's a virus. You see they got the masks on. That's Chris Pine. There was a couple other Piper Parabos in it. A couple decent actors. Got a small scale. It was just about this group of friends living post-apocalypse. Obviously, it's a lot more serious than COVID. It's not like where somebody's like, I don't need the virus. It's like they're like this shit kills you. You get it and you die. So there was a little bit of tension, but it was just I don't know. Not a whole lot happened. It was just kind of low scale. Whereas most post-apocalyptic movies, sometimes you just want to know what's going on. Like they never really went anywhere. It was just about like pretty much happened within a few days, I think. But it was a good movie nonetheless. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend all these movies. They just barely missed my list. So now we're gonna head into the top 20. My top 20. Like to know. Maybe disagree with some of them. I guarantee some people are going to disagree with a few of them, but that's what makes this interesting. So let's get into it. Number 20, Light of My Life. Not a very not well known. I don't think it ever probably didn't do much time in like movie theaters and stuff. I do consider myself a Casey Affleck fan though. I think he's very talented. He's had some pretty good. I mean, he writes, he produces. In this particular movie, he wrote it, produced it, directed it, and starred in it. And it's basically about I believe. Oh, all right. So this was kind of similar to I don't know if you've ever seen there's an FX series called Why the Last Man, where all the men something happens to all the men. Anyway, this was kind of like that. Actually, this was first, so they must have copied him. But something happens. There's a plague, but it only affects women, and it kills all the women. Well, not all of them. There's like a few that were immune, but most, probably like 95% or something like that of the women are all die. It kind of it messes up society. Of course, like things break down. It gets to more of like a brutal kind of like a lot of towns just fall apart. People kind of coagulate into like or consolidate into like towns like from other towns. So a lot of like it's got like that apocalyptic feel. And Casey Affleck has a daughter. All right, and she's very young. She was like just born when this happened, and his wife dies early on because she gets the thing. So he just is trying to protect his daughter. Now you can imagine a world where there's hardly any women. Somebody sees a girl, it's
right.
Like we were talking about before. They're trying to take your women. Yeah. This is like
age is off the table.
This is that off the. Oh yeah. Well, that's part of that too. Is because this movie starts out. Yeah. Well, it starts out where she's like just kind of hitting puberty. So this whole time he's been able to kind of pass her off as a boy. She got the short hair. Oh yeah. He dress her in boys' clothes.
Right.
And it starts out the very first scene of the movie. They're in a camp, and like this creepy old guy shows
creepy.
up. Yeah, and
this guy's got a full blown condom outfit on it. This guy's ready to go. That's a major red flag right there.
Just dive in, son. But
nice.
So they're camping out in the woods. Like he doesn't like to be around people, so they try to stay in the woods. And they come back to their camp one day. They see this guy rummaging around, and he's looking at the girl. He's got that looking at her like that.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and he's so Casey Affleck. They get him to leave because it was just him by himself, but you don't know who he's with, where he's. So immediately they get up and leave, and that starts the movie where he's like kind of now he's on the move. And just trying to protect his daughter, who's starting to go through puberty. Like I said, it's starting to get hotter and hotter to disguise her, and it just goes from he just moves from place to place, and the stakes get a little higher and higher. Like he doesn't trust anybody around her, and really really good movie. Kind of pretty unique like apocalypse as far as like all the women die. Like I said, I don't remember before that happened, but now like I said, they got that series on FX that they did all the men dying, and it's just.
Is that Ben's kid?
But
is he related to Ben?
That's his brother, Ben Affleck.
Oh, is that his brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's really talented.
Actually, wasn't he in the movie when he first started?
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting. Yeah. He was one of the in the crew, right?
He's the one that came downstairs. He's got the glove on. He's he was like jerking off into the glove.
My boy's real smart, right? When they were in the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's come a long way from that. Like he was like just like a goofy, like, you know what I mean?
Kid,
but yeah, he's got a lot.
You like me now? No, I think actually Ben said that.
Yeah. You're suspect.
Yeah.
That was Ben. But yeah, I mean that was definitely a good movie. Number 19 on my list, Bird Box.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
It was pretty good, you know, and I think it suffered for me from overhype. I think it just like there was so much buzz about this movie when it came out. I think I'm pretty sure like this kind of was one of the first like big budget like Netflix movies when they really started getting like big stars and like going in. I mean, maybe not the first, I'm sure it was, but like I don't know, for some reason this was when it like really started to take off, and this one, you know, did very well. You can't say in the box office because it was never in the box office, but it was. I mean, it good story, and then, you know, but this is also, I always had a problem with this. Is very similar to another movie, very much like it. Quiet Please, A Quiet Place, right?
Similar.
So this one has to do.
This one's vision, and the other one's audio.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, so I kind of I looked into it, and you know, I think this was done in 2016. It was based on a book that was written in 2014, I believe, and A Quiet Place was original screenplay. John Krasinski wrote it. So if anybody was copying anybody, it was The Quiet Place. But
Quiet Place was in the theaters. That's why everybody knows it more popular than this one.
Too. Well, no, I don't. I mean, really, this is probably just as popular, I would say, as sequel. Yeah. But
this was supposed to have a sequel, but I don't know what happened.
But it was, you know, really good, interesting. Had some really tense scenes. If that crazy dude down there.
Yeah, he was massaging her face or something, right?
Yeah, just a friendly neighborhood masseuse.
Yeah. He said, "I'm good."
Yeah, but you know, it's low on my list. Like I said, I think it might have been from overhype. I actually watched it again recently just to see, you know, if I had to, you know, after like the dust settled, you know, from the hype on that stuff.
What was it like? Was like electricity ghosts or something like that, and it responded to
they
your
were
vision?
like invincible. I mean, at one point they found a way to like kind of see what they looked like, and it was just like kind of like a shape with eyes, but it was just like on a piece of paper. Like for some reason, it was like sound waves, how they got a picture of it. But yeah, it was like, you know, it's my problem with this, I think, is it's hard to make like you know, like exciting scenes when everybody's can't see, you know what I mean? Like it's tense. It's you know, if you care, if you care about, yeah, right. Well, this guy he looked already, but he was like, the thing was, when you look, it makes you like crazy and want to kill yourself, you know. But this guy, he looked, and I don't know if they controlled him or something. I
think they were using him
because he kept trying to get everybody to look, you know, and so
convert everybody or something,
right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
massaging their face first. Oh, this feels so good. Oh, my eyes. A
little manual Botox. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, not much else to say. It was a decent movie, but you know, this one you could kind of say maybe it should have been in the non-qualified list because the apocalypse kind of takes. I mean, they bounce back and forth. There's like 5 years later, I think, and then a lot of the movie takes place like on the day or like during the apocalypse. But you know, it is what it is. It was a decent movie. So that's number 19 on my list. Come on, all right. Number 18, Here Alone. Probably not many people have seen it. It's an indie movie. Definitely like, you know, low budget kind of. Didn't get a lot of advertising and stuff. But I tell you what, it's really really good movie. It's kind of, I guess you could say it was slow. I mean, there wasn't like a ton of action, but there was just like tension the whole time. Like there was always like, yeah, she was. So she. At the start of the thing, it does flashbacks where it's her husband and her kid. Eventually, you know, they get out of the city. They find like a spot like out in the woods to live, and they start running out of food and stuff. Eventually, the father, you know, all right, spoiler alert. This whole thing's spoiler alert. So if you're planning on seeing these movies, I'm going to give you some. I probably won't tell you the end, but I'm going to give you some of the information. But yeah, and it's actually a zombie type movie where, you know, they're kind of hiding from these
she looks like a zombie now.
Yeah, well, she wiped shit all over herself so that when she goes out to get, you know, to scavenge,
like shit or like the insides of another zombie.
Shit, no, just shit. Like, yeah,
okay. Shit?
Yeah, No.
Because I don't even
bear
mind
shit.
on me.
No, she was using bear shit. She would go
Oh,
out
no, that's not
and
that
find
bad.
bear shit. And before she wiped it on herself, she'd pick all the berries out so she could eat them.
Nice. Because you got to be hungry back then.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
that was like the whole thing was like just she's running out of food and she tries at all costs not to have to go scavenge.
And there's hardly no water, right? So you're actually
well,
cleaning
she
the
would-
berries with spit to make it doubly gross.
Well, actually, she would clean the shit off with her piss.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the whole thing was all right. So she had this thing where, all right, so she's gonna go scavenge, and so she'd leave the woods and she'd go out and she'd have a spot where she'd set up this bucket and she'd just keep pissing in a bucket, and she'd have all this piss and she'd put it on the edge of the like halfway between the house that she's scavenging and her camp, and then she'd covered in shit. She goes out and she would have this. She had this like little baby toy that made noise, and she'd cut herself. She put blood on it, and she'd hang it like on the other side of the property of where she was going. She'd turn the thing on, make the noise, put the blood on it, then it attracts the zombies. And then she'd go around the other side of the property and break in. So she was like smart. That's what I liked about it too. Was like they put a lot of thought into how her strategies. And then this was one of the ones where we were talking about earlier about how far do you go like to shut yourself away from, like keep away from other people. Right. Where society, like you need people need to communicate and all that stuff, but when it's life or death, at what point do you draw the line? Right. And that's what happened. She's on her own for a long time, and she meets a couple other people, and she decides to trust them, and it goes, and it goes from there. Like I said, I'll try not to give away the endings and stuff, but definitely a really good movie. That's her with her original husband and their baby. The husband dies, the baby dies. That's her covered in shit, and then that's when she first meets the other two people.
Is that her Facebook profile?
That's all right. I'm gonna tell Julie to use that one.
It's a dating.
I'll tell my wife to do that. Cover yourself in shit so guys don't want to talk to you.
Only a real guy would talk to her, like a sincere guy.
Oh yeah.
Like not look for ass.
Or somebody
or anything.
from like West Virginia or something.
There goes our West Virginia.
Yeah. I mean those other guys. The Hills Have Eyes people. So my next movie is The Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. You're very right. But not this Bad Batch. This Bad Batch. This is number 17 on my list. His style was chubby. Just went flat.
Just for show now.
All right. Ever seen it? Bad Batch? Ever seen it?
No, I don't think so.
It's
maybe, but
kind of obscure movie, which is surprising with the star power that it has. But this is another one. Not sure if it would qualify as. Did you see this, Mario? Bad Batch? No. It's on Netflix. It's a good movie up until the ending. I'll just say right off the bat. And I was very disappointed with the ending on this. It looked like it was going somewhere good, and it just kind of fell flat. Which sucks too, because like the first 20 minutes, they could have like just cut that into like 5 minutes and put a little time into the ending. But it's about, so maybe not post-apocalypse. I don't really know. But basically what they did is they sectioned off either all of Texas or a part of Texas. And they turned it into like a detainment zone for like criminals. That's what the Bad Batch. So if you like had too many run-ins with the law, instead of like taxpayers paying, it's really not a bad idea. Instead of having taxpayers pay it, they just sectioned off a big area of the Texas desert and said, hey, you just go live there until you die.
so instead of New York, you went there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or maybe because it's so far away.
Right.
If you do a crime, you go into this one.
It could
This
be.
is New York, you go over there.
Could be, yeah. Maybe it's the same universe. I
Maybe.
don't know. Might be. 'Cause it was the same idea.
Yeah.
They just throw you in there, and basically when the people went there, it might have been. I don't know if they covered all the towns, but they really centered on two like kind of settlements that people would go to. So you had the bridge people. They settled into like it looked like an airplane graveyard kind of thing. I got a little ahead of myself. And then you had Comfort, which was more like your, kind of your quintessential post-apocalyptic little town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the bridge people, what they did for meat, for food, was hunt down the new people that came that they tossed into the quarantine zone. So they basically wait for fresh fish, basically, new arrivals, and they'd hunt you down, take you, chain you down up over in Bridgetown, and they'd eat you a limb at a time. You know, so they just keep you alive to keep the meat fresh. You know, and they did it all nice. They cut your arm off and then cauterize it with a hot frying pan. And this is so our heroine, I guess you'd say, the main actress there, Arlen. She gets thrown into this containment zone, and she gets found by the bridge people. They drag her back, they chain her, and the very first scene, like one of the very first scenes, is her getting her arm and her leg. They get cut right off. Yeah, so like right off the bat, you're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? It was kind of it sets like all the events in motion. So it was pretty cool. And then she eventually escapes. She escaped once again. I don't know what it is with the apocalypse.
How she escaped with nubs?
Well, because she wiped shit on herself too. I guess that's a thing
nubs?
in the apocalypse.
Like, how do you climb the fence?
Well, all right.
So,
there was no fence. Like I said, there was just. But they were like, and it's funny because all the bridge people, they're all like buff and they're all like lifting weights because
me and all the people,
they're eating protein. Yeah. In comfort, all they eat is like noodles and shit, and like
that's so much carbs
and drugs. That's how they keep them happy. When somebody had a big supply of drugs in there, and they keep them all.
So they must be pumping weights back there too.
They were, yeah. Like one of the scenes, you see them all. They're all pumping weights and shit.
That makes sense.
So she ends up, she gets away. So she wipes herself in shit because the lady comes over to take another limb, and she's like, she had to drag her over to wash her.
Wait, was this a different movie?
Different movie.
Another one.
I don't know what it is with ship wiping. Yeah, it must be a thing. Maybe that's a thing in the apocalypse.
We got to do that in the segment. All the shit wiping movies.
Maybe not. I had my fill. I don't think there's any more shit wipers in this one. But yeah, so that's how she escapes. She ends up like the lady has to unchain her, and then while she's not looking, she grabs something and whacks the lady over the head, and she finds a skateboard and skedaddles out of the desert. And then she goes back to the other town. Comfort. She kind of like settles in over there, but she doesn't like them either. They're all like kind of weird, and so she's kind of like she's a bad batch in the bad batch, I guess. But what's funny about this movie is the star power.
That's Jason.
You got Jason Momoa. All these people. I mean, that's the.
All these people in this movie.
Yep.
Really?
Jim Carrey, Keanu Reeves,
What's
Diego
this
Luna.
movie? Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch. Yep.
Well, yeah, this movie come out. I missed that one.
Probably. I don't know. Not too long ago. It's only like a few years ago.
I like all these guys. I mean, he's all right.
Yeah. So it's why it's like it's weird that it's so obscure, but but just prepare yourself. I think if you know the ending's gonna suck, it won't suck as bad. Sometimes when you know that. So, all right. So moving on to number 16. It Comes at Night. Kind of sounds like a horror movie or something like that. That's what she said.
It comes on who?
It
comes at night.
It comes at M. Night Shyamalan.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
It comes only at night. Makes sense.
All right. I banged the table. All right. So So basically, this one's another. I guess it's post-apocalypse. Another virus thing. So another virus breaks out. This one, it was. This had a few stars in it too. You got Joel Edgerton. And one other guy, there's a couple of like kind of lesser known actors. Basically, he owns a house. They're like kind of way in the woods, and they're like one of those people that like no contact whatsoever. Like anybody finds this house, we kill them. That's like the rule. Because really, I mean, what do you do if you say you give them, even if you give them some food, you're nice to them and you let them on their way, you know if they're gonna come back later. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to walk
for seconds.
Seconds or whatever. Or they just want your shit.
Right.
And so, starts out like early in the movie. Their house is set up where it's all boarded up. They got they got like a door that separates, like I guess it must be like an in-law like setup or something like that. So there's one door that separates the two parts of the house, and that's that red door that you saw in the earlier screen. So one night they're in bed and they hear somebody rummaging around the house. So he gets up, they get up, and then the guy's starting to trying to break down that red door, and
from the outside getting to get in.
From the outside, trying to get in. So anyway, door busts open, shots are fired. Nobody gets hurt, nobody gets hit. But then he's got this guy, and he captures him, and he starts talking to him. I don't think I have a picture of the guy, but the guy's like, "Oh, I got a wife, I got a kid." He's telling him like the guy, he doesn't want to kill him, but he knows that that's probably he should just to protect his family. It's one of those like conundrums where so it's like one of those morality questions, ethics, morality. At what point do you draw the line? It's a really good movie. I thought it was. It kind of has a little bit of like horror like themes to it, like a little bit like that. Something starts to they start hearing shit at night. And it's a lot of tense moments in it, so definitely recommend it. It's in the lesser half of my top 20, and I'm not gonna spend much more time on it because we're at number 15. We got through the first quarter of my list, and we're only like 2 hours in. No, so all right.
About 40 minutes.
All right, so Cargo. Have you seen this one? This is another. Obviously, it's like a zombie.
That eats honey.
It's Australian zombie movie. And it's a little bit, they're kind of nasty zombies.
Got nice hair though.
There's breeds. You got they get I guess they get into the beehives, I guess, and that's no, it's just like I guess it's like their version of zombie. Like I said, it's Australian made. Martin.
I remember that guy from something.
Yeah, Martin Freeman. Oh it's The Hobbit. It's,
Bilbo, okay.
But the whole thing is early on. That was his wife. She gets bit early on. She
Bit
ends
by
up
what?
biting him. One of these
like
these
zombies
zombie
too?
things.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the same deal where they bite you, you
premise.
turn.
Yeah.
But he's got his baby, and he gets bit by her with the baby on it, and that's where the title Cargo comes in. Like he ends up before he dies, he's trying to get his baby to somewhere safe because they're out in like the outback of Australia. Yeah. He finds this Aborigine. I believe it was a girl. I want to say.
Looks convenient.
And actually, because he's trying to hook up with somebody that can get him to where there's still because there's still pockets of people around.
Right.
But he's just trying to get the baby somewhere safe before he turns. And I won't give away the ending, but with the baby on its back, if he does turn, he can't get at it. You know what I mean? So
You can't eat the baby.
yeah, but I mean, eventually, obviously you
You
don't
can't
want
just
to.
go like this and pop the baby's head off. You can't reach. There's no way you can eat that baby.
All right, maybe you could. I'm not going to
tight writing
speculate.
there,
Yeah. Well, all right. So we'll move on from number 14.
Totally safe.
Number 14, Survivalist. Really good movie. Kind of a bleak one. And I kind of tend to like when you talk about post-apocalypse, it ain't a party. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be kind of dark. And
Who is that?
it's... I don't know his name. You've seen him probably in movies, yeah. But he's just once again we're on that where do you draw the line of connecting with society or people? He is completely alone. He has no family. He's got nothing. He's got he's got a little farm. I wouldn't even call it a farm. It's like a garden, living off in the woods. And he the movie starts with him burying somebody and throwing them in a ditch. So that's how he deals. Anybody that finds him, he's gonna kill you. And not because he's an asshole, just because he doesn't
low on food.
Low on food and just low on trust. Your run-ins, all your run-ins with people are probably gonna be
It's like a killer hermit.
and not too good. Yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. So during the course of the movie, early on, these two show up in front of his daughter. This is probably the same scene where they shows up. It's a mother and a daughter. And they came in and they're desperate. They're starving, so they're asking him for food. At first, they want to trade seeds with him, seeds so we can plant. And
I do mean
seeds. Well, when he doesn't want those seeds, they said you can drop your seed in my daughter, basically. Yeah, pretty. And he takes him up on that offer.
Really?
So it's this is one of the most realistic.
So it's hard to get along with when his girl's around. It's a little different.
Well, he's he ain't had no play in a while. I mean, look at him. Even if they were around, they probably wouldn't be. They're not flocking at him. But it's he's a man. He's got needs. He's hey, this might be my last chance. You never know. So he takes her up on it. He gives him some food.
So he's gonna
then he locks the mother. He locks the mother in the back room, and he does his thing. Next day he wakes up. He's gonna kick him out, and then she kind of convinces him. She the daughter, like, I kind of acts like she likes him. She actually shaves him, which was weird.
His balls?
She shaves his beard.
Beard.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's like
I know some girls like it smooth.
I don't even want to know his fucking balls.
But this is old, so I mean, he's probably rocking like the '60s. Who knows?
That was actually this is only like a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but this took place a long time ago.
No, well, no,
Right?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. This is like
the
future. I
timeline?
think.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like you said, it's post-apocalypse.
Okay,
So it's yeah, but yeah, and it goes on. Like they end up convincing them to get them to stay, one way or another. But the whole time they're plotting. Like the mother, she's like plotting. She like keeps telling her like to grab the shells for the shotgun, and like they're trying to kill him, get him out of the picture and take over. Yeah.
Okay.
In the meantime, every night he's he's in bed with her. I don't think it bothers the mother too much. The mother was she's kind of a bitch. And that's kind of how the movie progresses. There's a scene where somebody, she runs into somebody, some other guy, and he takes her. It was like their plot was ready to hatch. They were gonna kill him, and he ends up rescuing her. And so they kind of like get a soft spot for him, but she still wants to kill him. But the daughter like because the guy came over and saved his
Did he
life.
ever bang her?
Her? No.
That's why he wants to kill her. That makes sense. Yeah, because the daughter's not in on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but he almost dies rescuing her. And then she's like, just let him die. And she's like, well, he saved my life and this and that. And so finally she's like, all right, they save him. And but all in all, I mean, that's like the main plot line, but there's a lot of things going on, and it really, really interesting.
What's wrong with the world?
I think it's a virus because he asked people if they're
Okay.
sick. Yeah, I think it was another virus situation. Book of Eli. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably moved up a few points just because of Denzel's in it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good in it. I thought it was an interesting kind of concept. I mean, really, I don't even remember what
It was like a soft version of the Road Warrior.
Yeah,
like really
kinda,
soft.
Yeah, really soft. Yeah,
like,
right.
like the same concept, but without all the creepy violence.
Yeah, right. Well, they based it on him. Like he was, he had the Bible, right? That was the. And,
He was trying to bring back
Yeah.
like hope and to people.
Gary Oldman, who plays the villain,
Yeah.
he likes the fact that he's got control over. He doesn't want that shit coming back.
Right.
So yeah, that was like the whole premise of the movie. But it was a good movie. Some good action scenes.
Yeah,
good,
good movie.
good.
Obviously, he's blind. Teaches you how to fight. Blah blah
Right.
blah.
Yeah. Some good sword fights and all that stuff. But yeah, it just overall, nothing remarkable about it. It was just a pretty
I don't know
decent movie.
why it was. What was wrong with that world? It was just like I
Yeah,
said. It was like
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was a nuclear war a long time ago, like the Road Warrior.
Yeah,
but it was
maybe.
something wrong because it was like
Yeah,
there was no Walmart there.
I think maybe it was old because there was a thing with the sun. Like, remember didn't they have to wear glasses like when they were out in the sun or something? I thought.
I don't know, he wore glasses. He was blind. He didn't want his eyes. So
I thought I thought there was like some kind of exposure thing.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was like an ozone.
if you know, put it in the comments in the bottom.
Yeah, please do. All right, number 12,
Shaun of the
of the Dead. It's one of my favorites. It was a good movie and it was funny as hell. Probably Simon Pegg's best performance
I
in
can't
my
remember if I
opinion.
saw it tonight. Is this the one they were killing zombies with rickets?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it was way off the wall, but I mean, it was well made. But I think one of like the funniest thing about it is like the very first scene. He's like walking to the store. He's like all tired. He's like walking by people and they're just kind of like walking around, like. And then later on, after the zombie apocalypse happens, like all the same people are walking around, and he's walking around, and he's like a zombie, and he's just like he doesn't even recognize like anybody's a zombie, and it's just kind of like a statement about just people are friggin' idiots. But that's one of my favorite scenes. They were doing the. You see this movie, Mario?
Yeah, but
The part where they were doing the white lines, and they're like digga, and then zombies like, and they still don't notice it. But yeah, I mean, this is just this is what knocked Zombieland out for me because this came before it, I believe, and this was well funnier. So Shaun of the Dead, that's gonna come in at number 12. Number 11, Children of Men. Have you seen that one?
No.
You got what's his name there?
I just saw him on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's,
Yeah,
he's on
yeah.
there.
Clive Owen.
Yeah, Clive Owen. Yeah, I like him.
So all right, so this one is you got Clive Owen. He's kind of like just like a, I guess he's like a slacker kind of. I don't know. He seems like he's got like kind of just like a. He's almost like John Anderson in The Matrix. Like he's just got like kind of like an office job, just kind of like living his life. He's not really, he was divorced. I guess later on you find out he had a son who dies early on, and I think this one was all right. So the premise in this. So that was what makes this kind of stand out is the apocalypse was everybody's sterile. Like all of a sudden, just nobody could have kids anymore. And the movie takes place like 18 years after that event. So the movie starts out there like you see like a news story about the youngest human being, this guy, and he dies. So it's like a big tragedy. Everybody's like, oh, because he was the last baby to ever be born. Right. So just like to give you an idea, like what's going on, and like society's breaking down. It takes place in England, and I guess everywhere else is like fell apart, and England's kind of on the brink of it, but they're like one of the last countries that are kind of still holding together, and so. What happens is he ends up like his ex-wife who had the son with that died. She gets in contact with him. Actually, by getting in contact, she has some people like put a hood over his head and kidnaps him off the street, throws him in a van, and she's a member of this like terrorist, or they call them terrorist organization. I guess they kind of are, but she tells him that she wants him to take this woman to get her out of the country, to go to this, they call it the Human Project, which is kind of like, I don't know, like a Greenpeace type thing, but they're trying to research on how to get, people, why what this happened, why did everybody just go sterile all of a sudden? Right. Come to find out, this lady's pregnant, so that starts the thing. He's trying to get away. So first of all, he finds out that his wife's little group there wants to kill him, get him out of the picture, because his wife actually like trusts him. She knows him well. She knows he's a trustworthy guy, and if he's got good morals. You know what I mean? So she tells her if anything happens to her to trust him, and she ends up getting shot, the wife. So she trusts him over the group that took her in, and so they start chasing her. When he finds out that they're gonna kill him, they start chasing him. He goes on the run, and it's just it takes off from there. They end up in like a quarantine zone, a refugee zone, which it kind of reminds. It's like kind of like almost like. Did you ever see the Pianist? Probably not. It's almost like just like the prison camp, like they sectioned off a big area. Yeah, something like that. They just threw them all in there. He ends up in there with her trying to get out. It's very it's an interesting concept on the apocalypse.
What's wrong? Is it another virus or something?
No, it's like I said. That's all that happened was that everybody went sterile. Like nobody could have babies no more. Yeah, so it was probably fine for a while. The girls can have baby, or the boys can't put the seed in. I'm not sure which one it was. I'm not sure. Balls or vaginas. It might have been. I don't know if they never. I don't think they ever said who it was. But no blame, huh? But it was an interesting take, and it was a good movie. Clive Owen's a great actor. You had some really good actors. You got Michael Caine. I forget who plays his wife, but she was a big actress too. The Chiwetel Ejiofor, that guy.
Let's see her face. I know.
And I'm probably butchering that name, but you know him if you've seen him. But yeah, some really, really good acting in it, and a really good story. It's probably a lot of people have this probably higher on their list. People that are into the post-apocalyptic stuff. So, but this, so this comes in at number 11. So now we're getting into my top 10 finally. Stakeland, kind of the zombie apocalypse with vampires. Highly, I mean, I wouldn't say underrated. I mean, it does gets good reviews and everything. Just not that well known. It's basically, it's basically just a romp across a vampire wasteland. Really is the only way to put it, but it's just really interesting. It's got some good actors in it. Victor Michi, obviously that's why I like that guy. Very.
Dimitri.
But no, he actually plays good. You've probably seen him in small parts in other movies. But it's really just it's got all the vampire kind of like lore and ethos. Oh, you stab him in the heart with a stake. I don't know about the garlic stuff, if that's in it, but that's basically it. Like they're trying to, and he finds this kid. These are some. Actually, they were. That's like a cult that was into the zombies. Then this guy ended up becoming a zombie. But it was really just it was really, the plot was pretty simple. Like I said, it was just them trying to survive in a zombie wasteland. But if you watch it, it's got a lot of tense moments, a lot of good action scenes.
So instead of a zombie, there's a vampire wasteland.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So
it's something
vampires
different.
slowly taking over the human race.
Kind of, yeah. They were like for the most part, they were mindless. They weren't like really. They were just like kind of like come at you like that. But a couple of them would become like kind of like this guy was a little bit more. For some reason he was like a little more evolved. I think maybe they were starting to evolve or something like that. So also Kelly McGillis from Top Gun, she was in it, and Danielle Harris of Halloween fame, the little girl from Halloween.
Yeah, I see her face.
Yeah. So some decent actors, probably not A-list, but they're up there. But it was just a well-made movie. It's kind of like one of those hidden gems, So definitely worth seeing. Now I'll probably get some slack for this, but I don't care. This is one of my favorite post-apocalypse movies. Kevin Costner's The Postman. A lot better than Waterworld, at least. I'll put it that way. But I just thought like they really captured like the whole wasteland scenario. I think the premise of this was there was a war, so it was like there was definitely a nuclear war. They mentioned like some people have trouble reproducing, and when they do, they have like mutant kids and stuff. So one thing that was one part in the movie was like he comes into this town and the girl's like this like this really pretty girl comes up to him. She starts dancing with him. She's like, "Are you clean?" She's like, she basically her and her husband come up to him to have sex with the because they see that he's not like he doesn't. They call it the bad mumps, I think. So you don't have the bad mumps. But the movie overall, I mean, Will Patton did a great job as General Bethlehem. Lawrence Tate, I think he was incredible in this movie. He had some really, really, really like emotional parts in it. This movie gets a lot of slack. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought it didn't do well critically. I don't think it did well in the movies. So I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on what I liked about this movie. But I like, first of all, he finds, so he's just a drifter, doesn't want to attach himself to any towns or anything, and he pretty much makes his money doing plays. Like he'll go from town to town and just like do Shakespeare and stuff and pass the hat, And one night he gets found by them. He was doing a play in a town, and they're the wholeness. That's what they call it. He's just creating this army to take over what's left of America. And the way they get their soldiers is they'll go into a town and they just conscript people. They'll say, all right, I want 10 people, 10 men from age 14 to 50. And he'll just take them into the army and just beat them into submission. And so he's in one of the towns at the time doing his play when Bethlehem and his army come in, and they end up taking him. He's like, I'm not part of this town and all this stuff, but they take him in, they put him into this boot camp or whatever. He's being made into one of their soldiers, but the whole time he just wants to get out and escape, and he ends up escaping, but he's like close to death. It's raining, and he finds a mail truck, an old mail truck, and he goes into it to get warm. He starts like burning the mail to get warm. He finds a lighter in there, and he takes there's a skeleton of a mailman. And he takes the uniform. So then once he gets out of there, he starts roaming the countryside again. He comes to his next town. Now he's got this idea. He's going to tell people that, because the people are living in these little small communities, and nobody communicates with anybody. The only communication they have from the outside world is when this guy rolls into town. So he tells them that he's a postman from the restored United States. He makes up this big long story, and at first they're like ready to shoot him, and he starts pulling mail out of the bag, and he starts reading is this person, yeah, and then he finally hits one. He gets lucky, and one of the letters is for somebody in the town. She's like, did he just say my name? And then they take him in. So he just
Bullshit his way in.
bullshit his way into town, and the whole time he's trying to get out of it, but he just kind of gets rolled up into this story that he made up, and that pulls all these people together, and all the communities end up revolting against this army. And it's all because of him, and it's just a really, it was just a really good story. Maybe some, I don't know, I don't know why people didn't like it. But it's it's my number 9 movie. So if there is reasons why people didn't like it,
Maybe people didn't like it because
let us know. Well, people don't like Kevin Costner. I think is part of it.
I like him. I just maybe this is just my side foot opinion on probably why. Because when people don't get their mail in real life, they get pissed, right? It's a problem. So when you watch this movie, right, and people are not getting their mail, and he finds all that big bag in there, people snap. It brings you to a place. Oh, I can't watch this movie.
People go
It's
postal.
almost like
They went postal.
yeah.
This is Postmodern 17 years ago.
Where's my shit? Where's my Amazon package?
But yeah, that's it was a good movie. I liked it. It's in my top 10. So if you don't like it, screw you.
I just watched that.
28 days later. Yeah, this is classic, zombie apocalypse type movie. I think I don't know what makes this stand out is probably number one. Well, actually, it doesn't really stand out because it starts out kind of the same way The Walking Dead started out. Guy ends up in the hospital, wakes up, and everything's already.
When I
out.
watched this, I thought this was the vampire one that I watched too.
Yeah.
The other one is what's the vampire one?
28 weeks later? Or
Something like that.
Is that a different?
No,
Yeah, but there's one that's vampires and then there's one that's zombies. Like this was the zombie one. I watched both of them because I didn't know. I thought this was a sequel.
Oh, 30 Days a Night.
30 Days a Night.
Yeah.
I watched that one and then I watched this. I thought they were together, but they're totally
No,
different movies.
all right, yeah.
I thought it was a sequel.
Well, there's another one called 28 Days too with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
It's like a well, she's a recovering addict or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, this one, one of the things that stands out is obviously it's got and we could. This is definitely a conversation for another top 20 list, but fast zombies versus slow zombies. That's one thing. And actually,
what?
huh?
What'd you say?
Fast zombies versus slow zombies.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's. But then again, this isn't. Supposedly they're not really zombies. It's like a virus, like the rage they call it.
Yeah, because they were like throwing up and stuff.
Yeah, so
in the face.
Yeah, it's of all my favorite zombie movies, this is probably kind of lower on the list. I'd say. Well, I won't get into the list of it, but it's got some good things about it. Like first of all, what they did with London, like how they made that like empty, it was like incredible. And the zombies were pretty creepy. All the infected or whatever, the red eyes. I thought that was pretty. Pretty different. It was different. It was a little bit
the
of
red
a
eyes
thing.
and throw some water on and make them sweaty because I don't want to use the makeup because it costs more money. So let's make them.
That's right.
sweaty.
Yeah, that's true too. They didn't have to use all the zombie decay and
why would
stuff.
zombies sweat? Zombies don't sweat. It doesn't make any sense. So, but it looks good though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, that's kind of why though. I didn't like.
He looks like a vampire.
I'd rather see some good zombie effects. You know what I mean?
Like maybe a cheek hanging off. And,
yeah. And they were all like screaming, all that shit. I wasn't really. So it was a good movie. I like how they did the apocalypse. How the soldiers that were kind of left straggling would probably be the ones turn into thugs. You know what I mean? They did. So
Abusing
yeah,
power.
good, decent zombie type apocalypse movie, but it landed on number 8 for me. Rain of Fire, love this movie. Have you seen this?
I think so.
All right, so this is one of. All right, first of all, it's definitely original because it's a dragon apocalypse. Right, so we got you got your zombie apocalypse, you got your virus, you get your vampire apocalypse. Now we get the dragon apocalypse. Right. First of all, probably the baddest ass looking zombies up till before Game of Thrones came around.
Dragons, you mean?
Dragons. Did I say zombies?
I
did say zombies.
Well, Dragon Slayer's dragon would look pretty good too, and that was made in the '80s.
That was a long time. Yeah.
If I saw it again, that was.
But
that
if you
was
see
pretty
this,
good.
if you see this thing, the way it moved and stuff, man, they did a really good job of it.
Is it animatronics or was it special
I
effects?
think it's CGI. I think it had to be. It had to be. It wasn't. It definitely. I don't think it was animatronics. And not only the zombie. I keep saying. Why do I keep calling them zombies? Dragons. The dragons were badass. Matthew McConaughey was badass. You never see this guy all jacked up like this. And, I mean, you know, not to. I'm just saying, you know.
He really got me.
In the most
I'm just
profound
saying.
heterosexual way possible.
Yes. But no, but
There's nothing wrong with
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I was waiting for that. No, but I mean, I just never seen him in this kind of play this kind of part. Like he's just like an adrenaline junkie type, like all jacked up and like intense. Like so anyway, the Christian Bale. He leads this little like this, you know, this community.
I think I remember this movie.
Yeah, they live in like an old castle, like in I think it's in England or something, and you know they're like dwindling down. The dragons are just there's no way to. I don't think any of them ever beat a dragon. No, they didn't. At this point, they don't know anybody that's killed a dragon. Like, the dragons are just they're overpowering everybody. And then one day. Matthew McConaughey, he's like the leader of this, like an armored column.
He's
like
I can kill a dragon.
Yeah, well, he's got like he's wearing like dragon claws. And they're looking at
Yeah.
that, they're like, holy shit. And yeah, he just rolls into town. He's kind of like badass, and like he almost like comes in and just takes over. Like not so much takes it over at first, but they can see like this guy like got those intentions. Like he could if he wants. Like he's saying they're just gonna roll on. After they just needed someone to stay. But yeah, I mean, and it just goes on from there where, I think there's a dragon attack while they're there, and they see how they do it. Like they use radar, and they triangulate, like they send the people out on the motorcycles, and they throw like a transponder there, and they're actually going at it with a helicopter. Like she was a helicopter pilot, and it was just really interesting because then after like the whole dragon thing, with the big battle, and it was pretty intense. Then you got the alpha male clash between these two. Like he's trying to protect his village, but at the same time, this guy could end up being their best chance to actually stop killing these things. You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on in this movie. With great special effects. It was a really it had that dark gritty feel to it. So really, really. Different, once again, it's another original. I like original ideas. Like, how many times can you watch a virus, apocalypse movie or a zombie apocalypse? If you get creative with that, and then you can build off of there. I think so. Really, really good movie. It's my number 7. Moving on, Dawn of the Dead, the remake. All right, and the reason why
Not George Romero's.
No, and I just only because
You don't shop at the mall.
it's different. Well, it's just I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, you could probably interchange either one. I mean, George.
Is this the one with
The difference is it just holds a place
the
in
guy
my
from
heart.
Pulp Fiction with the cut in the back of his neck?
Oh, Ving Rhames, yeah.
He's in this, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm not going to argue with you. Yeah, no, it was
a
based
mall.
on the thing, But once again, now you get that fast zombie versus slow zombie thing, And there's, I don't have a problem with either one, really.
I think the fast ones are more scary.
It's more intense. Like it's more like there's like I don't know. It's just ups the ante a little bit.
It does,
you know what I mean? And that's why I pick because all right. So my I've always been like zombie movies has been like one of my favorites. I mean, always. And the George Romero obviously all his movies. Well the first 2 really. I mean,
He's
after
like the
that,
father
some of his stuff. Yeah, some of his stuff after that. I mean, it was a little over.
Who
the
made
top.
Zombie? Who made the movie
That
Zombie?
I think it was an Italian. I want to say it was an
'Cause
Italian.
that was like
director.
a 70-something. I actually have that.
It was either an Italian director or it might have been even an Australian. It's definitely like a foreign director, like
Is that
a
right?
foreign. Yeah, I want to say it might have been. I think it was Italian. Who was that famous Italian director that does all the horror? Did like Suspiria and I can't think of his name. But I don't want to get off track, but yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, George Romero, how do you rate this over that? I think it's because like I had been this was really, I want to say like the first time you seen the Fast Zombies, was it?
No, I saw Night of the Living Dead, the black and white version. I think I saw that when I was a kid.
Fast
I saw.
Zombie?
No, Fast. I'm saying like the fast one.
Oh, they were fast in this?
Yeah, in the remake.
Were they running?
Dawn of the
I don't
Remake.
remember.
I remember the opening scene was awesome.
Well, that's what. Yeah, that's what it like. It was like wow. Like because if you asked me before I saw this movie, I would have been dead set against fast zombies. You know what I mean? Like
I just
no
think
way,
I think they're
fuck
more
that,
scary.
You know? That's it. Just yeah.
You
it
got
just,
6
it
of them
just-
coming at you.
Yeah, yeah,
That
exactly.
sucks.
I mean, there's something to be said for either one. Like you, Night of the Living Dead, the original, you couldn't have that with fast zombies. You couldn't. Just the way the way the tension just built, and like every time they look out the window, it was like first they see that white guy like the Undertaker dude like that
They're
chase them.
coming to get you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Oh shit, they got you. They're fast now.
But it's the same thing with Walking Dead. Like, there's no really, unless it's a horde and you're stuck in a corner. Like, I'll go outside with a baseball bat. I'll take out 100 of them.
No, yeah.
deal.
You could,
What are you even scared for?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's just creepy. Just
But when
the
they
idea
run,
of it.
like
Yeah.
in World War Z
You
or
gotta
I
sleep,
Am
too.
Legend, when they run in packs, that's freaking
Yeah.
scary.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know,
You gotta
bat
sleep,
my
too.
ass.
Yeah.
I'm running.
Oh, yeah, that's
But you could do it right. I mean, if you can still make it scary with the slow ones. Like I said, you have to like have a plan and act out. You can't just sit in a house. Like in Night of the Living Dead, that's what happened. Like it was like, oh, there's only a couple of them. Let's just sit here and see what happens. And then like towards the end of the movie, you got hundreds of them out there,
Right.
and they're just relentless. They're gonna keep coming. So all it takes is one of them to grab you. Yeah, you could just run through, bomb and weave, and smack them in the head with a friggin'
Well, they
double
should have
ender
left the
or
house a
something.
long time ago.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, But it's just like, it was good for tension building. But like this was, I've just been watching them my whole life, zombie movies, loved them, and when this just blew me away. It was just see how scary, like you said, how scary it is when you got this not that guy. When they're coming at you like that, they're coming flying around the corner
sucks.
like that.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's that it just ups the ante so much. So
definitely.
this one like brought that to life. Like it really like kind of started that trend. And that's why then you get the 28 days later and everybody.
We would have to probably do that on a different segment because the downfall with running zombies, like I don't believe they can run because they're dead.
Well, I'd say
and the
maybe
muscle fibers are not working
I just think
correctly.
I think maybe they could start out that way, and then as stuff just starts to decompose. I mean, you got to slow
like
down
a
at some
fresh
point.
one, like
this
fresh
guy.
one.
Yeah, like that one right there. How's he
nah,
running?
Nah,
yeah,
that's
he's
the
already,
muscles. Nah, it's got to be like freshly dead, like the guy over there. And that I can believe. But as they start rotting away and your muscle deteriorates, there's no way you're jogging around.
Exactly,
That doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
Right,
That's
right.
silly.
So yeah, that's definitely I guarantee
cover that one, yeah.
we're gonna have a zombie segment sometime. All right, now I got a little star on this. I Am Legend, and now if it was just this movie, this might not even make my top 20. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean it might, but number one, this was a book that I read and that I loved it, and the other movie I'll get into it. So this movie, the sets were incredible. The fact that they did this right here
was nice.
was like
I like this movie.
I liked it. I did.
I thought the friggin' I mean, I knew it weren't zombies, but the affected people were creepy as shit.
Well, see, with me, that's what killed it for me. I thought up to the part, right, and up to the part where he goes into that building
with the dog.
he chases the dog chases the deer in there, and he goes in there, and even that whole scene, like when he's like got the flashlight, and he's trying to like not see, and it's like it's so intense, and then you see them all, and even when you see them all there, they're all like huddled and they're like,
that was creepy.
That was
Because they're like waiting for the Bidako, just waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was creepy.
And then, what? Right there, that's killed me. It was just.
Oh,
it
'cause
just
it looks too.
did not look. Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked
I know what
fake.
you're talking about.
It
Too
looked-
much. Yeah.
The CGI sucked.
Yeah,
And
I'll agree with you.
This
on
is
that.
one of the
They look better in the dock.
Yeah,
because you can't see it as much.
But even like I don't know the facial expressions, like I don't know. It was just I didn't like it, and it really took away from what could have been a really, really good movie. I think there had to be something else.
Maybe the money, or maybe the team who did it. Was
Yeah,
a
I
really
don't
good
know.
team.
I mean, there had to be some other way to do this. Somebody didn't look at this and say, well, "Oh my God, this sucks." Like nobody said that. Like I don't get it. But I
That's 'cause
whatever.
Will was in the room and. Starting.
Me-
What do you think? Will, it's good, right?
Well, you know what?
Good.
He actually there was a story about it recently. Like he complained that he wanted to hit like 80 million in the first weekend, and he was pissed off because they only made like 78 or something like that. It was something weird, But I mean,
There's
it was
two
a good
endings
movie.
on this, though. You know that, right?
Yeah. I know.
So the sequel they're gonna make is gonna be based on the other ending.
Oh, all right.
Obviously, because he lived and and stuff.
Yeah.
Push that table in, it's like a drum.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep doing it. So yeah, I mean that's what killed it for me. But now, like I said, this number 5 is shared through all this. So this story, I Am Legend, was remade, was created 3 times. They made it in 3 different movies. All right. So this was the last one, and probably the least close to the book too. It did have its good, like I said, it did have its good scenes in it. So this was the first one. This is the original. Vincent Price, The Last Man on Earth. This was probably closest to the book. But this also, I mean, you got some good things in this movie. You got Vincent Price, who, this is like in the 60s. This is like the heart of his, this is like the peak of his, just being like the horror legend.
He is horror.
Yeah, right. And it's really creepy. Like just the overtones of the movie were just really just kind of creepy. They were not.
What was his name? They kept to call his name and everything.
It was Neville. Was it Neville?
Barry. Oh, was it?
Oh,
Rob. Well, I don't know.
No, it wasn't Robert though. It wasn't Robert Neville. It was.
They call
yeah.
his name. They
No.
call creepy.
Yeah. I know.
They could talk. The zombies could talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
they
they were actually supposed to be like vampires. But they weren't like vampires in the sense that like you think of them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, but they were so. All right. So we got the fast versus the slow again. You got the slow zombies, fast zombies. In this, the different the different like movies based on this book. You had fast versions and slow versions. So you got the fast ones in I Am Legend, and in this one they were really slow, and that's the one part that I didn't like in this one too. Is they screwed that up too because, all right. So this, it was the same premise though. He's got the house. He locks himself in during the day. He's out, rummaging and taking everything he wants and killing vampires. He just hunts them down, kills as many as he can. That's his whole point. He's trying to clear the whole area so there's none of them come out at night. Because every night he goes home and he's just gets harassed by them. They're all surrounding his house.
Oh, so they know where he lives.
Yeah, they
know. I Am Legend, they didn't know
it's
where he
actually
lived.
in this. One of them is his neighbor. He became that's the guy that keeps calling his name. Yeah, one of them was his neighbor.
It looks like a Twilight Zone episode.
But yeah, kind of, yeah. But and that's the problem is those are the zombies. Those are like the vampires. They're like just like really goofy and.
They weren't zombies, they were vampires?
They were vampires, yeah. Like
Who
I said, they
turned
weren't
them?
vampires in the sense. It was just a virus that created them. And it's not, they're not like the classic idea of a vampire. They were slow moving. They were kind of more like zombies. Like they acted like zombies. Like he would run through them and they would like try to grab him and he'd push him away. But they had like the garlic. He had garlic hung all around his house. Mirrors. They didn't like mirrors. So it had
They didn't like mirrors?
No, so it had like some of those vampire characteristics. But
Oh yeah, he put the mirrors. Did he put them outside?
he put them outside the wall. Yeah, but they would just smash them. Yeah. So then you got. So this was probably the closest, stayed truest to the book, except for like towards the end. Oh no, I think the ending of this one was kind of like it. But then this was the one that I first saw, and I just remember watching. This used to come on like Saturday mornings sometimes, and I don't know what it was. I just loved this movie, and it's because of the whole thing where during the day it's kind of like where like in Dawn of the Dead, like they're just going through the mall. You can get whatever you want. It's like a shopping spree. That's what he did. Like during the day, it was like a kid in a candy store. He was out just getting everything. He's got nice cars and everything else. Then at night, the things come out. And this one, so we had the running like weird CGI things. You got the zombie vampires things in.
Goofy.
Yeah, and then this one, I don't know what the hell. What is that's like 1960s night vision right there.
That's a giant red beam. Is that the first red beam?
And he's got a nice velour smoking
That's a
jacket.
velvet jacket?
And so these are the things. They weren't zombies. They were alive actually in this. They just had some kind of disease. They were like albino hippies or something like that. I don't know what the hell they were.
They got sunglasses. I mean,
That's
they're
right,
chilling.
But yeah, so
They get along.
But so there was all the different things. But my point is, I kind of put them all here because I love the story. And
What was wrong with them?
there was
Was it a virus?
I think it was, yeah.
So they're
Yeah,
not a
I think it
vampire,
was.
they're not a zombie, they're just
No,
sick.
they were alive. They were just they couldn't come out in the sun. The sun
okay.
had killed them. And it was the same thing where, Charlton Heston, he just boarded himself up in his house every night. These things would come after him, and just, they knew where he lived too. And, but the whole...
What are you going to say? His face looked like he was going to say something that...
The whole point of the story is, it's called I Am Legend. The reason he's legend is because while he, this is mankind evolving, kind of. That's what their point was. And they looked at him as the monster, because he's out there every night while he's killing all of them in their sleep. So he was famous with not even just with this, but even with the other stories. But I don't know. I think what I liked about it was just being able to go out there and just get whatever you want. You stockpile it in. You just batten down the hatches and wait for morning again, and you got the run of the land. That little pea shooter. All right, so number 4, Quiet Place. And we kind of touched on this earlier with the similarities to Bird Box. I just think this was a very well-made movie. I wouldn't think you could make this and be successful and have people like it when they can't talk. You know what I mean? It's half the movie they're just talking and whispers and stuff. But the things they have to do to survive, the little crafty little things. And I thought that was that scene where she has to have a kid in a bathtub by herself without making any sound. Right. That was just, it was such a tense, there was a lot of tense moments in there. And that the creatures were pretty well made. I like how that was when they had that, they made that sound.
Well, the sound made that's
the hearing aid, the hearing aid, because that was their thing, there was just one big ear, their head was one big ear, so that was what they used to defeat him. But, and I liked how, they had they put the beach sand down, on the path from town to the house, so that they could walk on the sand, so that the things didn't hear, and the things were pretty fucking nasty. I mean, lightning fast.
But that kid, was that one of their kids? Was that a kid they picked up and they were just...
No, that was their kid.
Was one of their kids?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so right off the bat, one of the very first scenes, the thing comes and snatches the kid. Yeah. It was violent.
And that's rare for an American movie. Because American movies, you don't really kill. Japanese, they kill kids all the time.
They didn't really show it because the thing was so fast. It took them,
right, but still,
just took them. Yeah.
But that's that's in this day and age, that's normal now. But back in the '80s, you never kill kids like that.
No,
Japanese did it all the time.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, it was just
not that he died, but just the whole scene was just intense.
Yeah, he's fine. He's probably he's rich. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was. I liked the monsters. I liked the concept. It was just a pretty well-made movie, and it's kept you on the edge of your seat the whole movie. That's what you want. So now we'll get into the top 3. And these things all have one thing in common. Actually, 2 of them have 2 things in common. The top 3 all have one thing in common in the title. So Fury Road, and I just think this was the best one since the originals. I think they did it better than even Thunderdome. And it stayed true to just the way they made that first, the second one, really. That's what the funny thing about this series is. Road Warrior got big before anybody ever even seen Mad Max.
Right. Yeah, that's the first one I saw.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I went to movies with my friend and saw that. I didn't even know it was a Mad Max.
No, I know, right?
I know that.
And
but I was impressed by the movie.
But the way they did this, I think even some of the way the action scenes were filmed, they kind of they sped up the scenes a little bit sometimes, the way they did it in the original. It just really had that feel of the original. I keep saying the original with the Road Warrior. And Tom Hardy, I think he's really, really good actor, and he played this perfect. And the villains were just little over the top, not as much as some of the ones say in Thunderdome.
I didn't like Thunderdome. I wasn't a big
no,
fan.
I didn't either. That's what I'm saying. I thought they got back to what made the Road Warrior really good in this. It was really dirty and grungy, and you didn't like the villains were just real scum. And that was the main guy, Joe Immorta, I think his name was, and he was just a piece of shit. Kept all these women around just to impregnate them and have kids, and that's where he grew all those little what do you call them, the wild boys or something, all the guys with the skulls. That guy tripped me out. That guy was funny. The guy on the with the guitar. Did you see this movie?
Yeah.
You see, yeah. I mean, that thing was just ridiculous. Like I said, over the top, but just enough where it's still like, just intense, and it's got a little bit of, like it could have happened, or could happen. But yeah, I mean, and then number 2, obviously the original.
Yeah.
No, you don't even need the title on there. You just see that, and that's like,
that movie was awesome.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. It's for action, post-apocalyptic action movie. It's got everything. You get your gay motorcycle guys.
Yeah,
But that guy kind of made the movie too. Like him being.
He was in Commando, remember?
Oh yeah, Commando. Yeah. He was in Weird Science too.
Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Commando. He was Matrix. No, Matrix.
No, Matrix was.
It was. What was
He was.
Bennett.
Bennett.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, let off some steam, Bennett.
Bennett. Yeah. Used the knife.
Once again, this will definitely be in another episode. But yeah, I mean, you get that.
That guy was kind of
humongous. Yeah. Who, the Mohawk guy?
That guy.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
He was kind of.
Yeah.
I liked him a little bit.
It was always like all those people were like just like kids, and you had to like keep them in line. You know what I mean? Like they were just like too wild.
This is probably the first movie that ever made me kind of almost feel like you know what the apocalypse would be like.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Oh, shoot, the end of the world could be like this.
Scavenging for like the very first scene when he's like trying to pick up the drops of gas. You know what I mean? Like it's just the freaking guy.
Oh my god, that's
that guy.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's so funny. When I was a kid, I thought that guy was huge.
Well, humongous.
But seeing him now,
I know, right? Yeah.
Myself,
Yeah.
he's like, he's kind of muscular.
Yeah, he's like almost like a Jason Voorhees looking with that head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can't. I don't think this would find its way far out of anybody's top 3 on the apocalypse list. So, but that's number 2 for me. Number 1, like I said earlier, I do like the dark and gritty, and this was probably like the closest to what it would actually be like. In my opinion, I think this is when there's like no hope. And this movie was just bleak. I did read this book before the movie came out, and I couldn't wait for this movie. And then I heard, Viggo Mortensen was in it. That just made it even better. I think he was incredible in it. I wasn't a big fan about the kid, Cody Smith McPhee. Well, he didn't really have to be that great, It was more about him, and just about him. There's a lot of similarities between this and my number 20, Light of My Life, with Casey Affleck, where it's just his whole life now is trying to keep his son, and not only that, but live long enough to be able to teach him how to live on his own once he dies, because he knew he was dying through the whole movie. He's that's one thing about this one too, is they never tell you what caused the apocalypse. Even in the book, they never tell you. Yeah. So it's it could have been anything. It could have been a comet. Could have been a nuclear war or whatever. They never tell you. But just the scenes too. Like it's just like a scene right out of Fallout. Just like it just looks like what it would look like. It's got that look, that feel. The dirty pushing a carriage. That's just how it would be.
It's downtown Providence. No.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right. But that's the thing, the road, they're just on this road, they keep going, and everything's the same. They never find anything better. Some good actors in it, too, Yeah, Guy Pearce, Charlize Theron. She's in my top 2 movies. I didn't even think of that. And Michael K. Williams, the late, great Michael K. Williams, and Robert Duvall there, too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you just see every scene is you just see the hopelessness in it, and it's funny too because they do have that one part where they find that little bunker with all the food in it. It's almost like they just throw that little bit of hope in there, it's and then they hear a dog barking, and then dogs meet people, and boom, that's it, we gotta go. And the kid's begging, why are we gonna go? And they took what they could carry, and they're gone. It's just. You got, and they had those marauding bands of people running around that to give that extra danger. They had the house with the cannibals in it. There's just so much going on in this movie, but it all just centered around the guy just trying to, with his last dying breaths, trying to do whatever he can to give his son a better chance to survive. Even though there's probably no hope, you know. And the whole movie had the gun with just the 2 bullets in it. You don't want to use it because it was just for them. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, you know. And hey, maybe not for everybody. You know, maybe this probably wouldn't be on some number one on some list because it's so dark. Because it's so
dark for me.
It's
honestly.
just like it's just like you watch it and it's like there's no like happy ending. I mean, a little bit like when Guy Pearce, his little band like finds the kid, and so like there's maybe some hope like he's gonna end up with this group, but yeah, it's like there's just nothing good, no happy thoughts in this movie.
I don't think I could because at that time it came out, it was the kids about Caden's age at the time. I was like,
yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's my number one. You know, this is my list.
Yeah,
So when that movie came out, like the suicide rates went to the roof, huh?
Probably not, because half the people couldn't even finish watching it, I guess.
Ma, that was like Ma's, like she loved that movie.
Yeah.
It was like one of her favorites.
She loves that guy.
Good. Oh yeah.
It really is. It's just like so real. It's like so, you know. Maybe, but a lot of, you know, that's not why some people. That's not why they go to the movies. They go to the movies to get entertained, not like, oh my God, this is what we're gonna look forward to, you know. But you know, if you could just take it as it is, and it's just a good story. It's the Cormac McCarthy, who wrote the book. He's just a master storyteller. He doesn't get enough credit. He did, you know, The Road. He did No Country for Old Men. Well, he did All the Pretty Horses, which wasn't that great, but you know, just those two right there. And he's got another book that he wrote that I read that's really good. So, Cormac McCarthy, if you got you know, if you like reading, you know, his books are pretty quick reads. They're really really good. And his movies, obviously, I mean that one, you know, if you like it, yeah, you either like that or you just can't. Like you said, you just can't watch it. But you know,
I watch it now. If I can watch it now, he's older.
Yeah, right.
So recommendation: you probably don't want to watch this movie with a glass of wine.
Yeah, not if there's any sharp objects nearby, at least. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody sticking. I know this one was a long one. Hopefully, Mario can do a little bit of magic with his editing.
Put it in 5 times fast forward.
But yeah, you know, I think any final thoughts?
I don't know if you guys liked it. Make sure you guys subscribe. Help us out with that. Like the video if you like it. Any suggestions, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, please do, because your suggestions. Obviously, we're a little raw. You know, we're just starting out at this. You know, we do it for fun. We do it for fun, and because you know we do have a genuine love for movies, just like a lot of people. Anybody that was watching this probably would. But we sit around talking about this stuff all day, and you know,
now we want to share.
I think it's just so, you know, we always have some good takes. So any suggestions, you know, comments, they all help. So yeah, please leave comments, subscribe, and you know, hopefully you'll be here for the next one. So
take care, guys.
Thank you.
Be safe out there.
Peace. All right, we're hot. Whenever you guys want to stop. Yeah. I'm recording. I'm not waiting until.
You're recording?
So I can cut that. I can cut any of this shit out in the beginning. I don't want to miss like
cut the shit.
This is good shit. This is my best shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Misfits of the Universe. This is Anthony. I'm BIGGNORM. We got Mara in the back. Uh-oh. What happened?
Movieverse. You said universe.
Oh. Save that for the outtakes.
Take 42. We could be anything we want to be.
That's right. Yeah.
Right now.
We could be the madams of the movieverse.
Yeah. Oh, the cocksuckers of the universe, because you put masturbators of the universe. I was like, yeah, that's gonna go good.
The master debaters.
Oh shit!
All right,
ready?
What are we doing? All right, Misfits.
Just stay in character.
Yeah. Stay in character.
Ready?
It's recording this whole time, so like whenever you're ready.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to.
I feel like we're on a Saturday Night Live skit trying to fucking.
I should write the lines down or something.
Hey, when we stop, right? Let's just like kind of like we're bopping our head to the fucking theme song, like, and then you can say, "What's up?"
I'm not gonna fucking time it perfect.
No.
Yeah, you gotta time to the beat.
Look at these guys. They came and dropped their head on beat.
Hey, we're misfits.
We're misfits.
Oh, we can bop our heads and I'll just turn the fucking microphones into dicks later.
Nice. Big black veiny dicks. You should have made the microphones dicks with balls on the bottom and the wire coming out the ass. This is like the umbilical cord. Could have made it like a peach color.
Oh shit. Oh,
A vein.
I'm having a wardrobe.
This is a vein.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Misfits of the Movieverse. You do it. What's my voice?
No, we keep talking the same. Like,
All right, everybody shut up.
I keep talking right when you say it, so that's why I keep laughing. Because I keep, right when you say it, I'm still talking. I keep talking.
Oh, I'm going to get divorced tonight.
Oh,
No.
That's what she said. Alright, sorry. Alright, I'm gonna be quiet.
Misfits of the Movieverse. Welcome, everybody. We are the Misfits of the Movieverse. That sucked. That was awful.
There's definitely going to be an outtake fucking around there.
Oh, my goodness.
This is awesome. I can't wait to
That looks like a
post this,
lightsaber right there.
You want me to give it a go? Or?
Yeah, you give it a shot. I'm off my game. I can't do it.
Oh, shit. This is good stuff. All right. Betty Bubby Booger Bumpers. Betty Bubby Booger Bumpers.